I have three options, which I'll present in front of you, and you all can tell me which one will you like to be covered. So first is we can discuss about the glories of the holy name from Canto 6th. This is from Yamraj speaking to the Yamadutas in context of the Ajamil pastime. So how Yamraj brings out the glories of chanting of the holy name very vehemently. And second option we have is we can discuss on the verse Trinadapi Sunichena and some very vital attitudes and mindsets which are given in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we'll also see some references from some other places wherein the how we can chant, how we can live our life in such a way, how we can deal with everyone and with this prakriti in such a way that chanting becomes a natural, uh, an easy process for us. And third option is we can discuss on the practical physical techniques for improving our japa better. So, what you would like me to discuss, please? You can share, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving us three options. I like to check with the audience if there is any preferences.
Second option, Prabhu.
Second option.
For us?
Second option.
Second option, Prabhu. Second option.
A lot of option. Chetan Charitamrita and 6 has to come.
Okay. Thank you. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. I pay my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityanand Prabhu, and all the Panchtattva, who are actually the real personalities who have broke open the entire store of the ecstasy of the nectar of the holy names in this age of Kali. And I also pay my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, at whose lotus feet all the devotees of Kali Yuga have all the gratitude. And then I also very much remember and pay my obeisances at the lotus feet of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, who has inspired of all of you at Bangalore. So it gives so much joy actually to see how much Bhakti Shakti Maharaj has inspired in the hearts of everyone. So it's really amazing. This organization called RSS, which is there all over India promoting Hinduism and Sanatan Dharma. They, among all the ISKCON leaders, they extremely respect Jayapataka Maharaj, because they say that this personality has actually made Hare Krishna a household thing for entire East India, which is very superb. And then what magic Maharaj could do in South India also is mind-boggling. So it is definitely the great mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and this Harinam Sankirtan mission on Maharaj. Even today, he is as innocent as a child, even more innocent than that. So, because of his purity. So, I really thank all of you for presenting and representing such brilliant examples of his mercy and his empowerment given by Srila Prabhupada. So this verse which we are discussing actually very much fits also these great personalities. So in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, he describes Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishuna Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadahat. To begin discussing upon this, let us see a prelude of 5 minutes from the other sections of the Shastras. Like if we check anywhere where some great Shastra has come out, let us take three of them other than the CC. So let's take Ramayana, let's take the Gita, and let us take the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavatam itself, we have the verse in the beginning of the first chapter itself, that how Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for people who are Nirmat Saranam Satam. Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivadam Tapatra Yon Unmulanam. So we find that this Bhagavatam itself is declaring that the real purport of the real essence of Bhagavatam will be revealed only to those who are very pure in the heart. And what is the definition of that purity in the heart? Nirmat Saranam, which means one should not have any kind of matsara, any kind of envy for any living entity. So this envy towards any living entity, this disrespect towards any living entity, or even for the prakriti, the material nature around us, this is actually by default there in the conditioned soul in this world. But the Bhagavatam describes that this is the qualification. The Bhagavatam is not saying that person should be from a Brahmana family. Bhagavatam doesn't say that person should be from a very scholarly background. Bhagavatam does not say that person should have taken bath. Bhagavatam does not say that person should be young or rich or talented, or from India or from abroad, or he should be a male or female. Nothing. Bhagavatam is crystal clear. Nirmat Saranam Satam. The same Srimad Bhagavatam, when we enter into the third canto, when we enter into the 10th canto, in the 9th canto, 11th canto, wherever the descriptions of spiritual world and its residents, directly, indirectly, descriptively, or in brief, wherever it is given, we find the entire description contains the same point: purity of the heart. In fact, Bhagavatam says, Jivan Mukta sa uchyate. If a person has those qualities of non-envy and compassion and service attitude, selflessness, he is a resident of spiritual even while being in the material world, just like a coconut. So a coconut, when it is dried up, so the outside shell is there, but inside that actual substance, it is detached from the coconut, and you can actually hear it like that. Similarly, while living in this material world, also externally having a body, a shell, a person can be Jivan Mukta if he has that quality of Nirmat Saranam Sakam. Similarly, we find in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, why did I choose you only to give the Gita to? Because you are non-envious and you are my friend, you are my devotee. Friend means he's totally open to Krishna. Devotee means he's surrendered, he has that faith, and he's very happy to see Krishna pleased. And non-envious. Non-envious means he's a well-wisher of everyone. So we find these are the similar qualities described for anybody to receive the transcendental knowledge, to be able to practice bhakti yoga. Krishna even says to Arjuna, described by the acharyas in 10th and 11th chapter, that not everyone can see the Virat Rupa. Not everyone can understand the opulences. Duryodhan and Shakuni, Dushasan, and so many like them, they could see Krishna, they could talk to Krishna for so many years, they could live with Krishna, but they could never understand or even acknowledge or recognize Krishna. Who is Krishna? Why so? Even after seeing so many miracles, because their hearts were filled with envy. And that's what happens. You ask people to chant the holy names, they cannot chant because their hearts are filled with envy. Even if you go out on Harinam, very few people you will find actually out on the streets. You even request them, please chant the holy names. And they're looking like, like they cannot chant the name of Lord Ram, the name of Lord Krishna. They cannot chant. Why? Because the hearts are filled with deliberate envy. The hearts are filled with extreme amount of selfishness. So for one's own profit, for one's own uh, for one's own selfish agendas, one is willing to do any harm to others. Then such a person cannot connect to Krishna. You find in the same Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a description in the third canto, 28, 29 chapters, which is from the Kapila Samvad. So Lord Kapila Dev, he is speaking to Mother Devahuti, the entire process of devotional service. In after speaking about pure devotional service, after speaking about devotional service in various modes, and after speaking about the other paths also, when he establishes the top the supremacy of bhakti yoga and how this bhakti pleases him so much, Lord Kapil Dev says that there is one thing which, if done, it does not accept bhakti yoga, even if it is offered with all perfection. What is that one thing? He goes on speaking like almost 10 to 12 verses. Each verse is speaking the same thing, but in different words. And the intensity goes on increasing. He says, if you worship me in my deity form, or if you chant my holy name, or you offer me devotional service through any of the limbs, and simultaneously, if you offend other living entities or my devotees, he says, if you disrespect other living entities and if you offend my devotees, I don't care for your devotional service at all. I do not accept your devotional service. So clear the Lord is. He says that your devotional service does not give me pleasure. He says it is duplicity. If you offer your devotional service while you're disrespecting other living entities, while you're offending my devotees, it's not done. It's not acceptable. It's very, very, very clear about it. Now, if we come to Ramayana, we find the same thing. That the when how did Lord Ram leave Ayodhya? Ayodhya is compared to our heart, and Keikei is compared to our conditional mentality, and Mantra is compared to the association, wrong association we take of either of our mind or of somebody else or of some wrong inputs. And when envy comes, by such association, so what happens is we ourselves, knowingly or unknowingly, actually ask Lord Ram, to move away from Ayodhya, to go out from Ayodhya, from our heart. That's how we came from spiritual world to here. So it is described that this envy or this ego, false ego, envy, disrespect to other living entities, selfishness, exploitative mentality, these are all connected with the same root, envy to Krishna. So therefore, to the degree we are away from this mindset, and rather we are in the mindset of service, love, affection, respect. So to that degree, our japa will naturally become better. So in Ramayana, we also find that the sage Valmiki, he got transformed, totally transformed, such that the entire Ramayana was revealed unto his heart. In fact, even before Lord Ram performed all the pastimes, it was revealed in the heart of Valmiki. Why? Because he became similar, Nirmat Saranam Samha. So this quality of a pure heart, a pure mentality, when it is reflected in our holistic life, okay, like it's not like just for those 2 hours when we are chanting, we should be in that mindset. How we deal with people, even while we are doing our daily course, our daily chores we are doing, and how we are dealing with people, how we are dealing with the resources in the material nature, you know how we are dealing with the devotees. So all these things put together, they create a, you can say, a um, cumulative effect on our ability to connect with the Lord in the form of his holy name. It is not just those 2 hours. It is not just the knowledge which we have from the Shastras about the holy name being non-different from Krishna. No, all these factors, they have that effect. Okay. Now let's take some examples. Like we see, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarurapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadina, Kirtanya Sadahari. So the first portion is Trinadapi Sunichena. What is this humility? This humility is not just about being very, very, like, physically or verbally being appearing very humble. No, what it actually means is that in our life, like we see old age, or we see diseases, okay, or we see sometimes failures in our attempts in material life or in spiritual life. And at that point of time, we realize that I am nothing on my own. Just like Draupadi, when she realized trying to save herself from Dushasan's attempts to disrobe her in that assembly, she realized that I'm nothing. I don't have any strength to protect myself. Now that did not bring frustration in her. Rather, it became a very happy revelation. Okay, you know, I, even with, like, first she was trying to protect herself with the help of others there, right? Bhishma and Pandavas and Dhritarashtra. She realized that actually there is no shelter in this world. Really, everybody is having his own agenda, his own fear, his own limitations. So then she starts trying to protect herself with, like, her own hands, both the hands and the entire body. She was trying to protect. She was trying to, safeguard herself from all the pullings of Dushrasan. And she realized that she cannot. It's like very difficult. Then what she does is she raises one hand, and then with another hand she's still trying to, like, put her endeavor. And with one hand she's calling out Krishna also. Then she realizes actually, I'm literally, like, I cannot do anything. I've done my endeavor on my part, but honestly speaking, I'm fully dependent on Krishna. Like, that's the only shelter now. And that is the time she raises both the hands and she calls out, "Oh Madhusudan, oh Murari." And then Krishna comes, actually. So just to show her. So this humility, like what Gajendra realized, that even though I am so powerful, Bhagavatam describes the power of Gajendra, the youth, the power, he was the most powerful elephant in the entire universe, actually. Not just, in fact, he was not on the planet Earth. So this Trinadapi Sunichena actually talks about, how we are nothing, we are no one, how we are very, very helpless in this world. And in a very happy way, we should turn to Krishna. That's what happened to Prabhupada. When Prabhupada's business collapsed, his wife and everyone chose tea and other things over him. So Prabhupada was very happy, actually. He was little surprised, like, he says, like, all that remained is the list of names in my family. Nobody is there today in the entire city of Kolkata where I was born. I did everything for so many decades, and today nobody is there to even see me off because I'm trying to board Jaladuta to go for my spiritual master's mission. So, but he was very happy that actually now I'm fully dependent on Krishna. I realized that. So this is that humility. Humility also includes that whatever power I have, it is coming from Krishna. Like Arjuna realized that when he was defeated by some infidel cowherd men in bows and arrows. So he realized that I was the same Arjuna with same bow and arrow Kandiva in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And there were such personalities against me, as Bhishma, as Drona, as Kripa, as Duryodhan, Karna, and so many personalities. Even one of them, like Karna itself, Arjuna couldn't defeat. And Bhishma, it is said, was more powerful than 10 lakh Arjunas put together. And Dronacharya, he himself had taught everything to Pandavas and Kauravas. Still Arjuna won. And the ratio was 7:11 of the armies also. How is it that Arjuna won? Despite so many reasons, like they should be defeated. So Arjuna realized because Krishna gave him the power. So even sometimes, like we see, we may have memorized verses, but the time when it is needed, the verse may not come out. Because that memory, again, matta smriti jnanam apavanam cha, Krishna gives. So when one sees in connection with Krishna, one can very truly, with an honest heart, one can say all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So that actually helps a devotee, helps a person to be totally freed from that ego that I am the doer. In fact, it also saves that person from inferiority complex or from depression. Why? Okay, I failed in something. Oh Krishna, I was such a failure. But then, okay, mata smriti ganam apohanam cha. Even forgetfulness, Krishna only gives. You know. So okay, if Krishna wants things to happen in my life in this way, he's the boss, he's the controller. This must be best for me. So in every circumstance, such a person actually can be humble. Such a person can be cheerful. You know. And then he can dance always because he knows Krishna is controlling life. So I'm nothing without Krishna. I need Krishna, and even whatever good, whatever power I have, it's coming from Krishna. So this is called humility actually. This is honesty and this is humility. So Tranadapi Suniche. Second part is Tarorapi Sahishnuna. Such a devotee, when he understands this, I don't deserve anything. So he's very tolerant also. When the onslaught of the karma comes upon him in his own life, he doesn't blame anyone. He understands that whatever challenges and difficulties, distresses I am facing from others or from the material nature or from my own body are actually products of my own karma, my own choices from the previous life. So this tolerance is not like, no. This tolerance is a very happy tolerance. This tolerance, again, it actually inspires joy. It actually inspires remembrance of Krishna. It inspires determination to serve Krishna and spiritual master further. Why? Because it is based on reality. It is based on tattva. Hmm. Okay. So one doesn't like, one understands, okay, I need to tolerate the pushings and pullings of my mind and senses, of my anarthas. Why? Because philosophically he is very clear. He understands that this is not this is not me. This is the conditioned mind actually speaking. Hmm. So such a devotee, when he tolerates the pushings and pullings of mind and senses, when he tolerates whatever is happening around him in the material nature, and he sees it in connection with Krishna, the absolute truth, understanding that everything else other than Shri Radha and Krishna is actually a relative truth at max. So then he doesn't get affected. As the Gita also says, Dhiras tatra na mayati. Even the change of the body, doesn't agitate a learned devotee. Of course, it's like easy to discuss. So we all are, including myself, just we are work in progress. So, but this is how, like, it is very helpful actually when we have this thing. The mind becomes peaceful. Then we can sit and chant. That anxiety which may come because of the different factors in the material world, or because of how somebody treated us, this and that cools down. Then the third part is amanina manadena. So this is very, very simple and practical and very, very profound. How it affects our chanting and our practice of devotional services is very revealing. See how it affects us. Like, even if we misbehave or we disrespect a simple person, let us say a cab driver, or a sabji vendor, a vegetable vendor, like, we may have some argument over price of certain thing, and maybe we are also not right, maybe he's also, maybe there was no clarity, and we end up kind of disrespectfully treating that person. See, the professional dealing is there at one place, but sometimes there is arrogance, there is unnecessary arrogance, there is unnecessary superiority complex, and then we end up uh, disrespecting or offending that jiva. So we can see immediately, we can see that when we chant the holy name, first of all, it will be difficult to chant, and second, in that chanting we'll not be able to seek shelter. It'll be that that actual essence of the chanting will not come out easily. On the other hand, when we are manadena, when we are not expecting respect, rather we are giving out respect, devotional service and chanting becomes so easy. It becomes so easy to fold our hands and Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You see, when we expect to be respected or to be served, that is the time we suffer the most. I'll just give a very short example. Like, let's say we are invited somewhere, and escorted with a Mercedes Benz, and then we will be given big, big garlands like Balaji. And then all the big, big people will come, and they will, like, they'll be waiting for us to arrive there, and they'll be like treating us to their best. And then when we go inside, they'll be giving us 10-course feast, with this thing and that thing. Like we may have all the, and when I go to the stage, there will be like 1,000 people waiting. So if we have all these expectations, now let us say when in reality, when we go to that event or program, so there is let's say only Maruti Swift Desire. There is no Mercedes Benz, and only one simple garland, the driver himself gave, at the railway station or the airport. Okay. And further also, like there is nobody to welcome actually. They just one thing is written and somebody comes. Okay, please come. Hey, this is the path, and you go inside, and they give you some maybe some idli sambar and some one sweet rice, and they take you to the stage, and there are some 20-30 people there. So one will be miserable. One will be like, he'll make a whole hue and cry and what is this and that. Okay, so but imagine when person is not expecting. When person is not expecting, when it's like, okay, who am I? I'm nobody. Then the same thing, oh, there is car for me, somebody. For this garland for me you brought, and somebody to welcome, and then this prasadam, okay, oh, so uh, nicely prepared, so lovingly you're giving me this idli sambar and this, and it's so nice. Okay. And then why are people waiting for me? Who am I to be put up on the stage? Prabhupada should be put up on the stage. So when we are not expecting, too much, anything we get, we are very happy. A grateful heart is a very happy heart. And for a grateful heart, there is nothing to be tolerated. As they say now, if you love your job, you don't have to do one. Similarly, when we seek Krishna's loving hand and our undeserving situation in our undeserving personality in every situation, then what happens is there is no situation to be tolerated. When we can offer respect to everyone else, because we know we are undeserving. In the heart of our hearts, if we remember our anarthas, if we remember our past, Prabhupada talks about this in say various purports in Bhagavatam, that this quality of repentance, gratitude, and determination, they are very foundational for any sadhaka. And why they are foundational? Because just like Chaitanya Charitamrita describes about Raghunath Das Goswami in this connection of Tranadapi Sunichena, that just like in 19th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Rupa Goswami describes, quoted by Kaviraj Goswami. He says that our heart is just like a field, like a garden. Now, the Guru gives the seed of devotional service. But for a seed to sprout and to become a very good plant and then give fruit, one of the most vital things is the nourishment, of course, to given like water and all the fertilizers and all. But the ground also has to be prepared. The ground has to be so nicely plowed that the seed just goes and very nicely it just comes out in the form of a plant. Similarly, Raghunath Das Goswami, the way he treated all the Vaishnavas in Govardhan and Vrindavan, every day he would pay so many obeisances. He would be so humble in dealing with them, very, very soft-hearted. Because of that, his heart, it became like a very, very fertile, very, very nicely plowed ground for the seed of bhakti to sprout very nicely. Similarly, in our dealings with devotees, in our dealings with material nature, when they are very respectful, when we don't, when we are not harboring any malice, any kind of envious thought for anybody, like somebody misbehaved with us, so we are not thinking, hey, should not get prasadam. This guy should not get prasadam. Even that is envy actually. Why should he not get connected to Krishna? Why should he not receive something? If we see some karmi person's business growing, and we feel like, why this fellow is getting so much money, so that is envy. Anybody actually, even from with Muslims or Christians or with our devotees at the hill temple or anybody, like if we have that desire that they should not flourish, or some good thing should not happen in their life or something like that, even if it is based on a real reason, like of us being mistreated or something, still that blocks us from the mercy of Krishna. So in this way, such a person who can practice these attitudes, these mindsets, in his entirety of life, 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days. So then such a person can do Kirtaniya Sadahari very easily. That Sada actually means anytime, very easily he can immediately connect to Krishna, chanting the holy names. It becomes like a very natural thing for him, like gravity, very natural for any object to fall. So actually, I very much offer my respectful obeisances to all of you, that many of you are very senior to me. I know it very well, but it is out of your etiquette, your eagerness, your humility, your good qualities as Vaishnava, that you gave me an opportunity to share Krishna consciousness and serve you in some way. So thank you very much. If there was any mistake, please forgive me. If there's any good substance, thanks to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for taking us through these Vaishnav qualities, which are so important for us to develop taste in chanting. Really thankful to you. And we hope that you have safe travel onwards journey. I just want to open the floor, if you allow, for some questions or comments, if anyone has.
Yes, sure, Prabhuji. One or two questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam. So my question is related to the second stanza of the verse, Tarorupi Sahishnuna.
Yeah.
So as you rightly pointed out, once we are, if the humbleness, the practical humbleness, if we start practicing the humbleness in our practical life every day, and then you mentioned that the tolerance will build up for such devotee. And that tolerance is not the artificial tolerance and then being excessive humbleness. But you said that there is a philosophical aspect of how this soul dealing with the material nature goes through these disturbances every day. On the other end, we have the holy name.
Yeah.
Prabhuji. So what happens is, most of the times, yeah, we might have that intelligence and we try to, say Hare Krishna, something wrong happened, let's say something unexpected happened. We try to suppress it by saying Hare Krishna. Sometimes, we don't want to take it to our heart. We try to suppress. So how both the things simultaneously, basically that intelligence and, the holy name together, we can bring into our consciousness when we deal with such situations. You got my question.
Yeah. One thing, Prabhuji, which helps a lot of devotees is to remember the past experiences. So there is a saying that Maya is so strong that even if we get some realizations, honestly, like if we get some realizations in our own life, you will see that after some time those realizations are gone. Like the realization itself means they should not be gone. But Maya is very strong. So some devotees even often they pen down their relations, share with some near and dear friends, or share with some other devotees. So it's very important that we keep contemplating on the lessons we have learned, positive or negative. Okay, so they help us in the times of such confusions. So you will find that when Dhruv Maharaj was in confusion, even such a pure devotee, like after he had become pure devotee, okay, after he had become the king, and Uttama and everyone had died also. So then there was a time when Uttama was killed by Yakshas and Dhruv Maharaj was fighting with them. So he was totally under illusion, which was created by the Yakshas. But then that illusion went away when he focused on the instruction, the teaching, the guidance given by the sadhus, the Vaishnavas around. So this is one thing, if we are always in that good association, and ourselves also, if we remember the lessons, the relations learned from our past, they can really help us at the right moment. Second thing which can help us is to think. This is very helpful, Prabhuji. Like for me personally, I've seen this is the best thing which can help, is to always contemplate on the qualities of great souls. what happens is we are very often too much focused on our own selves. Okay, like our problems, our this, our that, me. Better than that, like if we focus on the great souls' lives, then very soon those qualities start coming in us also in our own capacity. So, like how like Prabhupada disciples are there, so many of them, how they attained Prabhupada's mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, how Prabhupada he went, on Jaladuta, and how so many struggles he had in America also. So many letters he has written. You just read those letters, okay? Thousands of letters is there in the Vedas before establishing ISKCON in India, okay, struggling, and then even the first 2 years, 1965 and 66. So you'll be like, you will be amazed, you'll be touched so much. So when the character and qualities of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and these great souls who are pure devotees of Krishna, when they enter into our heart becomes, our heart nourishes our intelligence also by remembering their character. That's why Prabhupada says again and again in his books at several places. What is that? Mahajano Yanagata Sapanta. That follow in the footsteps of these great souls. Whenever there is confusion, even if there is confusion from the Shastras, Dharma Sankat is there. Okay. Option A is also right, B is also right, C also, D also. Which one I should choose? Then you contemplate on the Shastras. You will always find at least one character in the revealed Bhakti scriptures with whom you can like relate your situation with in your life anytime. And then no longer confusion. Okay, what did he choose in that situation? This is second thing. And third thing is armoring ourselves, strengthening ourselves with philosophy. सिद्धांत बलिया चित्ते न करे आलस. सिद्धांत समझने में आलस नहीं करना चाहिए. So often there is a, like, we just want some tips and techniques, and we want some nice pastimes, some nice kirtans, a feel good experience. But actually, even philosophy is extremely important. If the foundation of our practice and our ecstasy is not philosophy, then any time a storm may come and it can crack our building. If a building has pretty good like interiors and false ceiling and all the decorative items, and it is laced with all the mm, utilities like air conditioning, this, that, okay, fine, everything is nice. But if the foundation was not good, then what happens is anytime a storm comes and the entire building collapses. So similarly, the foundation of our spiritual knowledge, okay, has to be based on tattva. Even if you have the worst experience in your Krishna consciousness, yet you should be crystal clear how I am not the body, I am the soul, how this material world is not permanent, and Krishna is the supreme Lord, and this is the goal of life. So come what may, you know, I'll, I'll stick to it with determination. And the same philosophy also teaches us tattenu kampa susamikshmana bhunjan evadma kritam vipakam. Ridvag vapurve vidhan namaste jiveta yo bhakti pade sadaiva. That the same philosophy teaches us, as Lord Brahma says in this verse in 14th chapter of the 10th canto, that whatever challenges and difficulties are coming actually are products of my own karma. We should be philosophically able to trace this out. If we do not do this, then what happens is we come to a blame game. Why is God doing this with me? Even though I'm chanting 16 rounds for last 16 years, still He has given me 16 enemies. We may come to all this kind of problems with our mind, or we may blame so many other people. The moment we get into the blame game or accusations towards anyone, so His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Maharaj says that always consider yourself the first cause or the primary cause of any conflict or problem you're having in life. That is the way of taking responsibility. And when we have that attitude of taking responsibility, which is backed up by shastras, like philosophy, it's not just sentimental thing. No, I should think like that. No, I should, whether you should think like that or not, it is, the reality is like that. So philosophy helps us to see things in the right perspective as they are. So these three things, Prabhuji, again, first is our past experiences and realizations, which become like gems for us. And second, and also the right association. That was the first thing. We discussed the example of Dhruva Maharaj also in that. And second thing which we discussed was about how we should contemplate on the character and qualities of great personalities. So if we are totally imbued with that, then it becomes very easy to deal with, like if we can relate with those personalities and take those lessons very clearly. And then there is great inspiration also, positive inspiration to follow in their footsteps. And the third was like philosophically we should be damn clear. So these things will be very helpful practically.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very useful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Does anyone else have any question for Prabhuji?
It's the same question, Prabhu. कि मतलब if others do something wrong with you or blame you, still we should be humble and then accept what he's saying is correct, or we should revolt back and at least make him clarify कि okay, that sort of thing, Prabhu.
Yeah, actually we do not have to like be as Prabhuji had mentioned, artificially humble. Like it's not like, see, when somebody, let us say you're doing some service to Krishna, or even your own family members are there and somebody is trying to exploit or mistreat. It's not like we just tolerances. We may tolerate some accusations or blame on our own selves. Okay, but tolerance is not that we tolerate somebody comes and destroys ISKCON, somebody comes and blasphemes Prabhupada's books, somebody comes and mistreats our wife and children. No, it's not like that. So we do the needful because that's also part of our responsibility. Okay, so it is not like that Mahatma Gandhi's that he says somebody slaps you here, you give the other cheek also. No, that's not the understanding actually. So if you do defense without the attitude to offend, and why are you doing defense also? So that you can continue your service given by Guru and Krishna, whether to your family or to the other devotees or to the Acharya. Okay, so you are defending because that is not the right thing what the other person is doing. Okay, and you are defending not to offend but to continue your service given by Guru and Krishna. Then that is also under the tolerance one. For example, Vishnu Chakra Thakur says that when Draupadi was trying to protect herself, like by calling out to Krishna, was that pure devotional service or not? Because that was like selfishly to protect her own body. So he says it is not at all selfish and not at all material. Okay, why? Because Draupadi wanted to ultimately continue to serve Krishna only. And the act of trying to protect her own dignity, okay, is supported by the Shastras, is supported by the Dharma Granthas, supported by the Manu Samhita. Similarly, you see Sudama. Sudama is glorified, especially because even after receiving all that wealth and opulences from Krishna, his Krishna consciousness actually increased manifold. Okay, he did not get materially enchanted with all that opulences. It did not at all affect his devotional service negatively, rather positively. Okay. Similarly, the goal of our being tolerant is on our personal part, but that too, that in such a way that our devotional service should enhance. So does that help you, Prabhu? Vikas too, was it?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, once again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. It was really helpful. All the points you shared with us. We also would like to thank Satyajit Prabhu for inviting Acyuta Mohan Prabhuji. Without his support,
it was just a service, Prabhuji. And thank you very much, Acyuta Mohan Prabhu, for joining us and enlightening us, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to serve. Hare Krishna. Jira Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.